no turning back. Yeah, we're live. So just want to say welcome everybody to this round table. It's a real honor to be here with you all. And today I'm joined by my two very awakened, beautiful sisters. Could you please introduce yourself, starting with Amenti?
Greetings, soul family. I am Amenti, the awakener, high-level avatar, blue flame holder, and sacred soul sister who has come at this time to help us in this sacred ascension. I embody the frequencies of the mother arc vibration, the mother of creation. And as I speak to you, my heart opens and I welcome you all because we are really in the birth canal as we speak. So I'm looking forward to sharing and enlightening and inspiring and uplifting us and helping us to understand what's going on at this time. Much love to you all.
I had full goosebumps when you were talking.
Yeah, I can feel it.
And please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Andrea. I am the CEO of Andrea's Healing Hands of Light. I am a multi-dimensional individual and dimensional traveler. I am a high priestess of Sekhmet, carrying and infused with Kali Ma.
Yeah.
I am a warrior for the universe. I do not tolerate any form of darkness or evil. I am a life and soul and world changer, bringing about unity amongst all in the universe, destroying all darkness and allowing us to live in what is pure life force energy. A warrior. Greetings, everyone. I love you all. I do not tolerate any form of darkness or evil. A life and soul and world changer, bringing about unity amongst all, destroying all darkness and allowing us to live in what is pure life force energy. A warrior. Greetings, everyone. I love you all. I do not tolerate any form of darkness or evil.
I've started a lot of watch parties and it's really affecting the audio. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I've turned it down. That's so brilliant. So we were inspired to create this round table because we feel like we've got some like wisdom to share with our brothers and sisters that is going to create unity. Like it seems to me that the globalists have got an agenda to create deep division between humanity, between all of us that are God's children, brothers and sisters. And so it feels like that there's all these kind of like multi-dimensional levels to what is being played at the moment, but on the third dimensional level it feels like everyone's emotions are being like bought by the deep state, wanting sort of like taking them into a very dualistic narrative, like heavy duty addiction to a dualistic narrative. And those of us on the spiritual path know that that is the antithesis to oneness, that is the antithesis to truth and to God's consciousness, is division and separation. And so we want to have a like really calm, like really mature conversation about how we can talk about this subject, this very important subject in a calm, spiritually mature way, because like we're all at that level now where we can have this conversation. Like I want to hear from you. I want to hear from my Black brothers and sisters. Like what can we do? What specifically is going to serve you to make this experience of being on earth more beautiful? Just as for all any sort of like perceived minority groups, even if it's like women in Asia like are a minority group, I want to give them a voice. Sister, what do you need? Like let's all start start giving voices to wherever there's a vulnerability in our society. Like, it's really, really important. But it's also really important to know that, like, we've all been abused by the deep state. There's not one single human being alive that is not suffering from PTSD, from being incarnated into the third dimension. All of us have got sexual abuse in our ancestral lineages. I have heavy duty sexual abuse in my ancestral lineage that I've had to work with, and being a very, very awake person, it's impacted me massively. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone has their burdens, and I just think it's really, really important that we don't start lumping everyone into categories, and to have a bit of respect.
Yes.
Let's have a bit of respect. You know what I mean? Like, for what we've all been through. And the fact of the matter is, like, it looks to me like the whole BLM Antifa is supported by George Soros. George Soros doesn't give a shit about black people's lives.
That's right. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care about black people's lives. He doesn't care about anyone's lives. The only lives he cares about is the lines of the bloodlines. That's what. That's all he cares about.
And the thing is, Jen, he said it. He's actually
said it. I know, he said it. So I think we need to really lay our cards on the table here, and have a very, very mature discussion about what's going on. So I'm just going to open it up now, and I'm going to ask both of you individually, like, what you are seeing. Like, you're living in London, you're a woman of colour. Like, what are you experiencing right now? So I'm going to go to Andrea first.
Okay.
What are you perceiving?
I live in the heart of London, and I'm feeling just chaos. It just feels like chaos. Everybody feels like they're walking around like robots. It feels very orchestrated, okay? I'm in my house a lot because I am that way spiritually. And I go out and everyone is walking around in fear of each other, because the system, the government has told them everyone's infected. Everyone's infected. Right now, I can share an experience. I went to the store just 2 days ago, and I went to go and ask for something behind the counter, and I had my stuff in the self checkout, and the man said, "You've interfered with the queue." And I said, "No, I didn't." And he said, "Yes, you did. You've interfered with the queue." And the woman in front of him said, "No, she didn't. She's doing a self-checkout." He said, "No, but she asked her to pass her something." I said, "Yes, but it hasn't interrupted the process of your queue." All right. And he was just like, he just went, "You people," and you know what? I know that I receive hidden racism, and that is going on, and I've experienced it my whole life, but it's flared up this division, more of a division amongst the people now. And I'm not saying everyone, because what I have also seen is a lot of unity at the protest. But this is what I'm seeing on the TV, and I don't believe what I see on the TV. But what I'm seeing on YouTube, though, is a lot of mix, all different races protesting for Black Lives Matter. Now, what that has said to me, what Spirit has said to me, is that they have an agenda. They always have an agenda. They've got agenda 1, agenda 2, and they've been doing it for centuries, right? Now, they're at agenda whatever now, right? The COVID did not do exactly what they wanted it to do, okay? They wanted more mass death. They wanted a complete wipeout of us all, okay? That didn't happen because our Creator is far greater. That can't happen. So what they've done, they've brought now this, they've now agenda 2, George Floyd. That's what Spirit's telling me. And instead of it's dividing the race, actually people are coming together. So again, it's not actually really working, but living in it, it just feels so orchestrated. Everyone is walking around in either fear or with a mask. You know, it's just all fear generated, but there's not as much asleep as there was. People have woken up to something, whether it be, you know, the Black Lives Matter, whether it be, you know, the COVID-19. People are now awakening to the dark forces that have been ruling us, you know, over our lifetimes. You know, for the first time, it feels like we're on the verge of a massive breakthrough. You know, if we stick together, we cannot give in to the cabal. We cannot give in. We have to stand together. It is so critical right now. That's my views.
Absolutely. And it's the cabal against humanity. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
Wake up. Like, you know, they're trying to get all the peasants to, like, and the pawns to just start fighting each other, and it's like detracting from the real issue. And for me, the real issue is what is going on with the children. I like, literally it is.
Yes.
And the children that are getting like kidnapped, abused, sexual slavery, underground tunnels, Pizzagate, the works, and all the while they're getting all the peasants fighting against each other. The unelite subhumans are they're making sure their adrenochrome supply isn't affected. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that is the real issue that's going on. Like, can we all like protest about the children, please?
Yes, we need to. And the thing is, you know, every time this hits me in my heart when I think about those children, right, sisters, you know.
So many black children, many black children, because you know why? Because they have like the juiciest, like, adrenal glands. They specifically target black children. Yes,
they do. And how dare. I saw an article where Putters sent a ship out to rescue the remainder of the children under the grounds. Is that correct, sister?
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, so we're going to go to Amenti. Sweetheart, I just want to hear from you. Your experience on the front line, and you're so deeply connected on a spiritual level. Like, what are you seeing? I'm just going to unmute you.
Brilliant. Greetings. Thank you, Sister Andrea, as well, for sharing your experience, because it mirrors some of what I'm seeing. But I wanted to speak more from what I'm experiencing, and also from the spiritual level, because as we know, that everything is happening for a reason, and we are coming out of the reality that is governed by duality into one of oneness. So there has to be certain processes that take place to destroy certain old paradigms in order for us to rebirth into new ones. And so that is the main overarching theme of this. However, on a physical level and what's taking place around me, interestingly enough, this time last year, my ex-husband was diagnosed with TB, and my whole steel band, my whole community, we all had to wear masks. Everybody was pretty much under quarantine for 3 months. They had to take antibiotics. I was working in the hospitals at the time with the doctors, teaching them about how to use things like eucalyptus on the mask to help kill bacteria. They thought he was going to die. So I was able to use sound healing tools and sound healing bells and acupressure to help basically kickstart his energy system so it can heal his body. So it's very interesting that we kind of went through that on a macro level last year, and now the whole world is kind of going through it now. So what am I seeing around me? There is a lot of fear, there is a lot of separation, there's a lot of divide, there's a lot of anarchy. And when people are in fear, they're disconnected from their spirit. But at the same time, we need to illuminate the shadows, and that's what's taking place right now. We're illuminating the shadows. We are traversing the 4th dimension. So we are getting to see some of the uglies that we have allowed to manifest into reality. We are seeing them for what they truly are. We have to understand that we have all co-created this experience together. So even us as Black people, in a way, we have conditioned our children to live in a world that is set up to to have us thinking in a certain way. We already think that we're going to be oppressed. We already think that we're going to be treated in a certain way. So actually, genetically, what we've been doing is co-creating that experience. Same with the Caucasian people teaching this rhetoric that there is this subconscious, divide of who is better and who is worse. This kind of undercurrent way in which we treat certain people in the community without speaking about it. All of these things are coming to the fore because on a soul level, we've all chosen to be part of that experience, to learn what we needed to learn in the 3D realm. When we're looking at an enemy, there is no enemy. Everything is a reflection of what's required for us to move into the next stage of our development and growth, right? So when we talk about fear, fear is the antithesis of love. When you are in love, you are in your power. Sister, you spoke about being a priestess and warrior of Sekhmet. Sekhmet represents that fire, that purging, that transmutation, that thing that's needed to destroy things. But Sekhmet is also works in hand with Heru, who is love, meaning that love also needs fierce compassion. It needs things to be broken down in order for them to be reborn into the new. Sister Jen, you spoke about the children, and when Spirit speaks to me about the children are very important. They emanate such a high vibratory frequency that they're also holding a certain amount of light. But Spirit also shows me that the more that we seek to free them, it's like they are not the end goal, but they're the pinnacle. And as we focus on them, all of the other shackles that hold us bound are being broken. So yes, we did need to understand that there was a discourse around, an undercover discourse around how we were communicating with each other as melanated people and non-melanated people. We had to understand that, because then we could really even understand the preciousness of these children. Before, when it was just about the children, and it was Black children, because there was children that went missing in Boko Haram in I think it was in Nigeria maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and it was out on the news for maybe a day or two, and that was it, completely hidden. And a lot of the reason why that was because it was Black children. It's seen as something as, it just happens in our society. Whereas now it's becoming a world issue. There are children that are being taken from all different communities. Why? So that we can start to address the issue. So ultimately, everything that is taking place with us right now is to break down those old paradigms. We are in the birthing canal. All right, we have to move from the illusion of separation. We have to deprogram from the experience of the illusion of separation into oneness. How do we do that? We have to break down the old paradigms. We have to break down the old illusions. One of the things that I say about Trump, which people don't understand, is when you look at the word Trump, it's a trump card, it's a wild card. So it brings change. It's not what you expect it to be. And so that's what we have to understand, that there is a divine nature, a divine force that is working towards bringing us into this next age. And at times it looks chaotic. We talk about the rise of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is chaos energy. She is chaos into order. You have Sekhmet, who is that fire, but then you also have Ma'at, which brings everything into order. And that's where we're moving into. We're moving into the age of Ma'at, which means to live from a place of heart consciousness. Now, in order for us to embody heart consciousness, we have to clear all of the shadows, not just the shadows within, but the shadows in our collective psyche. The consensus reality has to shift, meaning that we have to change the reality and the paradigm that we've chosen to agree to subconsciously and co-create a new way of living. That is only going to happen when we start to see these injustices come up. Ma'at represents justice. So when you really think about it, in order for us to get into the heart, we have to embody Ma'at, meaning that we have to see each other. We have to now understand that we are one, and that what one does has an effect on another. So yes, I am seeing a lot of people in fear. Yes, I do believe that there is an agenda, but I also see the top of the triangle. I see that everything is working towards the unified goal. So even so-called riots and whatnot, as much as, yes, there might be this George Soros who is funding it, on another level, what it has done is it's given a voice to the indigo children. The indigo children are here to break down the old paradigms. So it's given them access. Now, we have to remain in our center. Why? So that we can focus our energy in the right way. So yes, George Soros is the one who is funding this agenda, meaning that we have to be mindful of how we place our energy on the issue that's being presented. Look beyond the hashtag and really understand what it is requiring us to shift and change. In that way, we're not we're not subconsciously agreeing to an agenda which is utilizing our energy. We are actually being conscious beings and choosing to highlight something which requires our energy to raise the vibration of it. Somebody can have a plan to, to execute us, but if that plan then ends up bringing us together, then the ultimate goal is reached, and that is that oneness. So I really just want to bring forth to everyone that it is not about separation on any level. Spirit says to me that this is about a deep process of soul healing that needs to take place. If you look at the sign of Aquarius, it's the water bearer, the bucket, right? So two things it shows you. Number one, when we are coming to the end of the bucket, that's when you get all the sludge, all the gunk, all the slime, all the nasties that people don't want to see. We got to empty that out. Also, we're being trained to prepare for the age of Aquarius. The water represents information pouring down so much that if you don't use discernment, you will drown in it. So you are being taught to connect your heart and your mind together. Don't just listen to what you're receiving. Take it in and embody it within your heart, in ma'at, and ask yourself, how am I supposed to align with this energy? It's encouraging us to become more conscious and responsive beings rather than being reactive beings. I did a soul transmission over the weekend, which was just basically to help clear the collective trauma, because don't forget, all of this collective trauma is in the Earth Star chakra. So it's not just within our DNA. We are shifting planetary karma here, planetary trauma that has ensued from not just the human experience. We're talking about the wars with the gods as well. That trauma has been implemented in us. So we're clearing it from the collective consciousness grid so that as Mother rebirths her new grid, it is ignited with those new codes. Now, you can't just ping like this and now it's like, oh, okay, that story is over. We have to deprogram from the experience so that we can bring more of our soul energy in, more of the higher self in, and raise the vibration to the frequency of the heart. So yes, there is a lot of mirrors, there is a lot of hidden agendas that are taking place, all really to help you to start focusing on your heart energy. Also, the one thing I would say about love, because people look at love and think love is an airy, fairy kind of weak-hearted energy. It really is not. Love is something that will break down everything in order to do what is right. And so we have to be working from that place of fierce love and compassion, meaning that we have to stand up for what is true and not have any fear of the consequences, because that fear that you have of any kind of consequence is an illusion. Do you understand what I mean? We are here to trailblaze. We are here as light workers, as star seeds, as souls that have come here to experience and help shift this energy. We have to be in the heart, and we have to be in a space of fierce compassion. We need that love, but we also need that warrior energy, because it is a time of no man left behind. The children cannot be left behind. The women cannot be left behind. The men cannot be left behind. In order to move into oneness, we've got to see everything. We've got to see each other and know that we are all connected. There is a divine director that is guiding this. So as much as it seems like there is things that are happening that are chaotic, there is a divine plan. I remember early on in the journey, Sister Jenny, Jen, you said to me, trust the plan, because obviously, the government's sending out all of these things about people who are working and not working, and you kind of want to figure out how you're going to take care of your financial means. But when she said to me, trust the plan, I realized, okay, the plan is to stay within my center and be like the birds. The birds always have what they need, right? When we worry about what we don't have, we can be manipulated. So when I stepped into that vibration, everything that I needed started to come to me. And that's what we are being encouraged. We're being encouraged to get past that place where we start bartering with our divine sovereignty. We don't have to do that. We have to stand within it. We have to be willing to speak up for what is right and trust in the plan that is taking place. Stay within the heart, people. Don't allow yourself to go into ego. And if you do, just know that it's helping you towards enlightenment, because enlightenment is the lightening of the shadows, the revealing of anything that stops you from sitting within your God self, your birthright. And for this new golden age to take place, we've all got to be vibrating at the frequency of the heart. So all of us are being called to check our shadows, both collectively and individually. And so that is what the ancestors show me at this time, because the mother is rebirthing. Even when we look at history and spirituality, whether we like it or not, there's a story, a discourse, a subliminal programmed message that shows us a white image. And for some people in society, it means that they see themselves in a non-deified state. Religion and spirituality are practices that help us to connect our human physical consciousness with that of our divine self. So there is a part of history that has been erased. You know, when we look at things like the primordial mothers, when we look at the Mariams, you know, when we look at Mary Magdalene, we don't see an inclusive vision of those women that were there at the times. The Sibyls, the Sibyls and oracles of Delphi, they were actually Black women who came and shared knowledge throughout the world. The first original woman, human being, is of melanated descent, because from that darkness you get everything. So we are all one family. You know, the more that we go up down in our human genetic pool, ancestrally, we are mothers and fathers and children and brothers and sisters. There is no separation. But that separation, that illusion, was just to help us with the experience of perceiving each other, of experiencing each other. But the oneness, the truth, is that we are all one. So we have to shatter the illusions and move back to that space.
Yeah.
I'm going to respond to that.
Yeah.
So, I just want to say that was really, really powerful, and I particularly resonated with what you said about like the sort of like the core issue that we're dealing with as a collective is the children. And how I look at it is like a ball of wool, and if you've got like a ball of wool where there's like really, really like mad intense knots, within that there's like mother knots. And if you go to the mother knot and then and that is the children, then it's going to start highlighting and sending those frequencies to those other smaller knots. And so I really, really resonated with what you said by that. I think that was a very, very high level, astute thing to say. And I agree, I resonate with everything that you said.
We are the children, Mother says as well. It's like when we deal with our shadows, we deal with the abuse of the first children. Those children could only be taken away and hidden because we haven't protected them. Same like our inner child didn't feel protected. So whilst we reclaim our lost pieces through the shadow, it's almost as if we will see the children clearly. We'll know exactly where they are because they're in us as well. We'll be able to align with the frequency that will free them. I also had a vision as well. Sorry, just quickly. Before this started, I saw Uhuru, the mountain, Ayers Rock, and I saw an earthquake. And when this earthquake happened, a tear happened in Uhuru, and the women and the children started to run out. And that was just before this COVID pandemic happened. So what Spirit showed me is that the feminine consciousness and the children's crystalline energy is held at the core of this experience. And in order for us to get there, we've got to break all this stuff down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what's going on. But I'm just getting a little bit like, I'm just like a little bit disappointed with humanity at the moment, because I wish that everyone could see, like on the scale of issues, that this isn't really the major pressing issue right now. I think it's really, really appropriate that we have this discourse about how we can all work together to make it more beautiful. 100%, I'm always up for that. But what I said in my last video is like, at the end of the day, like how, like this is between me and God. Like you can't come with me white supremacy bullshit privilege to me. You don't know me. You don't know how my ego was burned. Like you don't know my relationship with God. Like I've sat with God and made a vow that I will always speak up. If I ever see prejudice, if I ever see racism at any level whatsoever, like I will say something. And so I've already made that with God, and that is an absolute fact. So I don't need anyone coming to me saying that, oh, you're just saying that because of white privilege. Like, move aside. Do you know what I mean? And it's so much ignorance, and I just really, really think that we need to talk about like ignorance and the fact that at the end of the day, we don't know. You might be a black woman. You might have had really like a teacher parents, like middle class parents. You might have had a really, really lovely life. Be really, really super protected. No sexual abuse, no abuse. Then you could have a white girl. Do you know what I mean? Similar situation. She could have been sexually abused by her dad every single night of her life.
Exactly.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. So all these people like jumping on this thing and like, you know, you can't white superiority. No, bruv, I'm just logical. If the fact that we don't know what we've been through, like we've all been through shit. Like the cabal has treated every single one of us like cattle, like slaves, like absolute shit. And at the end of the day, I've been on the path of enlightenment, of spiritual awakening, and at the end of the day, that path is open to every single one of God's children. Even if you're like locked up in a prison cell, you can still do the work to liberate your consciousness from this 3D matrix.
Yes, amen.
Black, whether you're brown, whether you're yellow, whether you're flipping green, like you can still, you have absolutely everything to awaken. And then the second that you awaken, you're going to understand that race is a third dimensional construct.
Yes, exactly.
This dimensional realm,
it's an illusion.
Exactly.
See so many of you on the 20th of June 2020 at 8:20 p.m. UK time for the 2020 solstice transmission. In love and light, Genji. Sorry, diversity is celebrated, and all of us as souls, God was like, right, we're going to make this beautiful planet, right, and we're going to make everyone different. We're going to have some people, some people, like Chinese people, so that you beautiful children of God can have the experience of diversity.
Exactly.
So that you can have, like, you can taste different food, you can travel, you can meet. Just mute yourself, sisters, because there's a lot of background interference coming. Like on a soul level, and then people go like, oh yeah, but that's just like white privilege, like, and it's like, no, like you don't know what I've been through to get to that level of consciousness. Like for me to remember and for me to understand that race is a 3D concept, you know what I mean? Like on a high dimensional realm, we're all just God's, like sparks of God, every single one of us, like do you know what I mean? So I did want to say that, and also another thing that really resonated, I don't know if it resonates for you sisters, but like apparently, like Black people are really rare in the universe. Like, do you know that? Like, it's only really on Earth. Unmute.
It's like the energy comes from the furthest dimensions of the universe, like the primordials, and that's why, because the closer you come to this level of consciousness, the lighter in color it gets, only because of frequency, and that's what we have to understand. It is only frequency and vibration. Even whether you come in as a Caucasian person or as a melanated person, it's only about the frequency and vibration. And what I was feeling from your heart, sis, and what's the important thing is that people were judging you based on their own prejudice of what they perceived you to be. So even though they may have felt judged by you, and they've now labeled you, and that's another thing that we have to be mindful of. That's why we have to come out of that thing of looking to keep on separating, because inside there is a soul. Your experience mirrors my experiences, and we've been connected long before all of this has happened, because we share a similar vibration. So we have to go beyond the color as well and start understanding that we are all souls having human experiences. And even in that, we're going to connect. For me, I didn't really have the whole black-white issue before, because I was literally coming from my soul consciousness. Even when I was studying spirituality, and that was only to be able to experience what I was already knowing and doing in here, there were only Caucasian people around. I went to the College of Psychic Studies. I was in the Past Life Regression Academy. I didn't see any of people from my descent, but it didn't actually create a problem for me, because I was working from the soul level, and these people saw my soul and I saw theirs. It was only then, after a while, that I realized that I felt like my community was missing out on developing their spiritual connection because of the barriers that they were seeing, and also the persecution of their own spiritual cultures. So I believe it just depends on the level of consciousness that people are at. But what your story tells me, and what it should reflect to everybody else, is that we are all experiencing similar things, and that has nothing to do with our race. And those things that unify us are the things that we should celebrate and share.
100%, sister. Andrea, what would you like to say, hon?
I'd like to say, basically, you know, I've never seen color, and I think that, you know, basically, the fact that people still see barriers and separation in race in this day and age is just so 3D, and it's all an illusion. And basically, I agree with what Amenti was saying as well. And I felt exactly what you were saying as well, Jen, because I've had similar experiences to both of you, you know, and, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we do have to go through. I actually see and feel from my spirit guides, and I've been getting visions that, you know, there's going to be grand chaos in the streets, and it is a breakdown, and it is part of the 4D going into the 5D. You know, it has to happen. All of this has to happen to get to the source of what it is that we're fighting for, you know, what the creator created this planet for. You know, this is what he's over. You know, people don't understand. You need to understand that God, the creator, is the full power. He's the one that is watching over all this, right? People don't understand that there's a high divine frequency that we all have to reach to be able to see these things. Do you know what I'm saying? And we are very privileged to be at that level where we can see, hear, feel. You know, it took for George Floyd's death, you know, for people to actually retaliate. You know, we were locked in our houses for 2 months. People were asking questions and watching the internet, but they weren't standing up and saying, actually, this is against my human right to have me locked up in my house. You know what I'm saying? Now they've got the 5G towers going up. Okay, sorry, but we have to talk about it. It's facts. It's all over the internet and the media, right? So why did no one come out of their house and protest about the fact that these 5G towers are going up? Why did no one come out of their house and say, oh, hang on a minute, I've heard there's not a lot of people in the hospitals. Why did people not come out of that, not one or two people come out of their house and go to the hospitals and see that they're half empty? You know what I'm saying? And those figures are not 100% correct. Do you know what I'm saying? Why did people not come out? Why did people not say no when this so-called pandemic was getting bad, right? And they were still making the children go to school, because my children's school was trying to make me still take my children to school, even though they were saying there's a pandemic absolutely everywhere, but they're not shutting the schools. The children are key. You know, the children are our future. You know what I'm saying? I didn't send my child. They were like, oh, we're going to have to talk about it. I said, yeah, we will have to talk about it, but she's not coming because you yourself have told me and the people that there's a pandemic. Okay, so I'm going to keep it. I was never worried about no pandemic. Okay, the pandemic, it's man-made. Okay, right? It's a combination of and I got that from the divine. The divine told me that is a combination, and it can't be cured because it was man-made. Okay, and there is a virus. Yes, we know there is a virus, but it is not the regular virus, okay, where you have a couple of sneezes for 2-3 days and it's gone. This is something that kills people and fast, right? But it wasn't just that. Why did we have the COVID? I believe there was other things going on, right? So they needed the COVID to cover what they were doing, to distract. But why such a massive agenda just to distract the people? And why did everyone just sit in their house for 2 and 3 months and lose their businesses and not protest? One man dies, and I'm saying that it is vital that Black people do stand up, right? But I'm sorry, but the people need to stand up. And I mean everybody, not Black, not white, no, Black, white, green, blue, red. The divine says, Andrea, bring the people together. That is what I'm supposed to do, okay? And we've divinely met, and I know it's divine, you know, and we've got a work to do, sisters. You know, we do have a work to do in bringing these people to where they need to be, okay? Don't just, now they know how to protest, okay? This is actually great. Now they know to get the attention of the hierarchy. So let's continue to do that for everything that we don't accept. You know, we don't accept. No consent, no consent, no consent.
I want to ask a question. So, like, what's your gut feeling? I'm going to go to Amenti first. What is your gut feeling when you see people all kneeling down and white people washing Black people's feet? Please speak, hun. Oh. Are you unmuted? Oh God. Are you unmuted? Yeah,
I'm unmuted now. Yeah, I mean, we have to understand the nature of symbology, and in all of these expressions, there is a giving away of power, and that is where the issue is. No one should give anyone any power. We all must stand in our divine sovereignty. Why do we have to kneel on one knee? Even the terminology, sister, you said overstand. People don't understand that the law, the way that the words are spoken, to understand means to stand under someone else's jurisdiction. So when you're kneeling down now, you are giving somebody authority and autonomy over you. Because also what I've noticed, and I just have to be honest here, I've noticed as much as people think that they're doing good now, it's also still bringing up a shadow, which is called the martyr complex, right? Because I've got a lot of people in my box who are like, oh, my sister, please, how can I help you? How can I see you? And yes, there is one level which is about us understanding each other, but then there's also another level of it, which is like, oh my God, I feel bad. How can I save you? How can I save this situation? And we have to be mindful of that, because nobody needs saving. We all need understanding of who we are and stepping into our power and doing what is right. I think that it's about raising awareness, but not giving over your power in any way, shape, or form. And that's what self-sovereignty is. So I see that this kneeling down and things like this, these are all ritualistic. Same like when they had the black squares on Instagram. I remember waking up and going on Instagram and I could feel the energy. It literally felt like something had been silenced, put in a Pandora's box, you know, like a black box, the universe black box. That's what it felt like. And as much as I understood one aspect of it, which was that people wanted to honor, you know, what was taking place and honor, you know, the black people's lives. And I say black people's lives, and I understand that. But on another hand, what it did was just create this screen, this darkness that covered over everything, and also showed how easy people are manipulated into doing whatever they're told to do. And this is where we have to be very mindful. This is not the time to be a sheep. This is the time to question everything. So going back to your question, these are all symbols of disconnection with your own power and self-sovereignty, and it's done deliberately. It's done deliberately. So we have to be careful of that. We can acknowledge something without giving away our power completely now and bowing down to it. That doesn't need to happen. You're muted, sis.
I'm there, yeah.
Well said, sister, 100% with you. And yeah, it's really, really interesting, like observing on social media, like what is going on at the moment. And obviously, like I'm quite sort of well known for being really, really authentic and outspoken. And but looking at my other friends that like dare to write the words "All Lives Matter," like
yeah.
oh God, they get hammered, and I'm
yeah.
bro, what are we gonna do? Because like all lives do matter, especially children. Really do. And everyone, you know, and just and hearing all this sort of like you know, retaliation against this idea. But for me, you know, the whole idea of Black Lives Matter, like of course Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, but had that not been created by someone that is like has a depopulation agenda, by someone that actually despises humanity, had that movement been created in a pure way,
right,
like I would be there. I would be totally there. But because I'm so in tune and I'm so sensitive to energies, and my team just don't let me get away with any illusions. They're like, boom.
My guides, the Most High would not let me do a black sheep. It wouldn't let me do it on my social media. It would not. I was told, do not do a blackout on your page, right? Because it was a ritual. That the thing is, it's like, do you ever get those chain messages? You know, and I think to myself, where did that come from? That came from a source, okay, with energy on it. Okay, there's an energy on that. Okay, everything's got energy on it, but it's what type of energy is on it. Now, that when I saw that, my guides instantly said to me, "No, don't do it." And I was like, "Oh, but you know, these are my people. I should be." No, that's not what you're gonna do. Okay, you've got a different work to do. That is that energy started somewhere, and it is a dark force. It ended up trickling through everyone, and everyone just went like this, okay, and pulled that dark energy into their being, and then went, kept going with it. They've gone out protesting and all that sort of stuff. This week is going to be a very interesting week. That's what I've been seeing. Very interesting.
And so with the whole thing with like this blacking out your screen business, is that it was very convenient for the cabal to make everyone, all the sheep, black out their screens, because that was the day Hillary Clintons were being
exactly.
You know what I mean? Obamagate.
Exactly.
Yes. And I think
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just playing into the deep state's hands, and this is where I'm calling in critical thinking. Like, and we're gonna end with a prayer, and the prayer is gonna be for like critical thinking from our brothers and sisters, that they're not just swallowing into the heart. The mainstream narrative, just mute when we're not talking, like just to basically like just consuming the mainstream narrative without and just chucking their sovereignty over the cliff. Do you know what I mean? Like you are sending us all backwards, guys. Like this whole 5D ascension business is completely reliant on as many of us as possible stabilizing in 5D consciousness, and that is unity consciousness, and that is where we fully remember our godliness and our sovereignty. And so this heaven on earth timeline that we're all incarnated to experience is 100% dependent on how many of us can stabilize in unity consciousness. And so all of these like deep state little agendas right now, they are trying to mess up the ascension by trying to buy your soul. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to buy your soul. And it's like, no, like listen, like check in with yourself. Like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about like kneeling down and lying on the floor with your hands tied going, I can't breathe? Like, do you realize you're casting a spell by saying, I can't breathe? You are casting a spell, because words are very, very powerful. This is what I call the absolute epitome of ignorance. And this is what I'm praying for, sisters. I'm praying that our brothers and sisters, like, fair enough, if you want to lie down on the floor and say, like, I can't breathe, like, be aware of that. Be aware of the symbolism that you're playing into. Be aware that you are feeding that deep state agenda. Like, don't just do it blindly, please. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm really, really asking for. So, Andrea, want to say something, hon?
I mean, when I saw everyone lying on the floor saying, I can't breathe, it was just, I was just like, they're actually saying they can't breathe, and that energy goes up into the universe, and then the universe receives it as they can't breathe, so they basically, words are powerful. Every single word that we say is magic. It's a spell, so when we're using it, we have to be mindful, and we have to understand, we have to realize that not to put yourself in the equation when you're using certain words. Do you know what I mean? That when you say I, it's like I am, I am, we know that carries power, so if they're going to say they can't breathe, like, they really need to wake up. Like, it's really serious. Really serious, right, sisters?
No, I totally agree with you. People are carrying out rituals, and they have so much fear around rituals and spirituality, but they carry out rituals benignly, meaning that they're conditioned by the same people who are facilitating the ritual without them even knowing. But they're so ignorant that they won't even look for the antidote. They won't even inquire. When you look at occultism is about that which is hidden. It is that spirituality. Well, people are not understanding that these tricks and tools have been utilized against them already, and they're already being reused against them. We talk about Freemasonry, people talk about all these things, but they don't really understand the depths of what is taking place because they put it in that conspiracy realm. Well, now is the time to study. This is what Mother says. It's the time to study. It's the time to empty your heart of your own inner prejudices. If you feel something, speak up about it. Don't wait for other people to say anything, because your energy is enough to start a revolution. Speak up. Be willing to, live in your truth, because that is what what is being required of us at this time. This is not the time for fear. And if you feel afraid of anything, ask for help, go within, call on your guides. That's the reason why this energy has been present and why we've been doing all of this work for so long. But Mother wants you to know that we are in the birth canal, and anyone who's had a baby knows what the ring of fire feels like when that crown is now coming through, when you're crowning. Don't forget, Corona is crowned. So we're going through a crowning now. All right. So understand that there will be fire. All mothers know at that point, it gets so hot where you want to say, you know what, I'm done. Let me put the baby back. And you can't. We've signed up for this, right? But know that everything that you need is inside of you to do exactly what it is that you came here to do. Just be willing to stop long enough and ask. That's what being conscious means. It doesn't mean knowing all your star charts and all these things. It means to be aware. It means to ask questions. It means to listen and to not react. That is the best way that we're all going to get through this. If everybody stopped reacting and just stood for 1 minute and say, okay, show me what I need to know right now, then we will be able to move forward. So I ask the Most High, I ask the Divine Mother, who knows all things, to continue to guide us and support us as we transition into this next stage. I ask that all eyes of the ignorant be open. I ask that their hearts be open, and I ask that we be unified so that we can understand and feel and know the real truth that is being birthed at this time. I would encourage each person to release any prejudices that you have about whether this person should do this or that person should do that. Remain in your center and do what ignites your spirit, because that is your personal divine destiny. Do not get into any conversations about who should be or who shouldn't be, because then you put yourself in a position of being the judge. And at the end of the day, like Jen said, like Sister said, there is a divine creator that is in control of this. And that's what we have to understand. So stay within the heart and don't be afraid to act. The most precious thing that you have is your divine sovereignty, your energy, and your time.
100%.
Sending my love.
And it really, really reminds me of that when I had my spiritual awakening, and I was shown, like when my third eye blasted open, I was shown that prior to incarnation, every single one of us sits at the feet of Mother, Father, God, and we co-create our life, and we co-create our timeline and our blueprint, and we choose everything. We choose our gender, we choose our nationality, we choose the color of our skin, we choose absolutely everything. And so, like, even to go along with this kind of like racism narrative, it's like implying that you're a victim and you're not a victim. Like, you sat at the feet of Mother, Father, God, and you were like, you know what, I want to be a black goddess. And like, I have my full respect for you, because I'll tell you one thing, when I had my spiritual awakening, and it was like the highest vibration I've ever been in all my days, and I was shown, and this like shocked people when I say it, but I was shown that God is a black woman. Like, they showed me, and I was like, what? And they showed me that if you think about black people, yeah, especially black women, like, they're so like at one with the earth, like the way they move, the way their hips move, the way they sing, it's like their vibration is primordial, and it's raw, and it is totally like undiluted God vibration. Like, and think about, like, you know, the most oppressed women have been like black women, and there's a reason for that, because they're so freaking powerful, you know what I mean? You're so unbelievably powerful. So the thing is, you can't pull one over me because I'm awake. So like, I know you, like, I know this. You know what I mean? People coming to me trying to argue about this, that, trying to say I'm racist. I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I know who you are, because I know that you, Amenti, sat at the feet of Mother, Father, God, and you were like, I want to be this, I want to be a sister, I want to be a black woman. Thank you very much. Boom, boom. And there's so many like advantages to being a black woman. Like, okay, like, we might have got a bit lost on the third dimension, but in terms on a soul level, like, it's very, very highly advanced. Like, I think it's quite highly advanced if you get a black woman's body in this life. I'm sorry, but I really, really do that, because that's what my guides have shown me. And that's not making black women special or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about the fact that I was shown that on a vibrational level, black woman is the closest vibration we have got to God. I was shown that. And so I know where I stand on this race issue, because my eyes are wide open. And my prayer is that everyone gets on their spiritual awakening path Like, do your shadow work. Like, the way that you awaken is to look at your shadow, like to look at your judgments, to look at your prejudices, to look at the plate, like your insecurities, etc. And you need to realize that that is your inner child, your wounded inner child, and that you need to, as the parental self, as the divine mother self, you need to retrieve those wounded parts of yourself in order to atone those parts, in order to bring those repressed shadow parts home back to the light, and then that takes your vibration to the next level. And this is how we keep on raising our vibration, by doing this very, very deep shadow work. And I would absolutely deeply encourage everyone to see this as a wake-up call to get on your spiritual path. Thank you very much. Do you know what I mean? Andrew, did you want to say something, hon? Oh, unmute. Can you unmute? I can't. No, you're muted. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Like what I've been getting, that my guides have been telling me, okay, my ancestors have been saying to me, Andrea, yes, okay, you know, Black people have been oppressed for years, you know, and you know, to be fair, you know, in slavery, we're all mixed anyway. You know, we are all mixed anyway. We have white blood going through our veins. You know what I'm saying? And white people have black blood going, because, you know, the four corners, we all came together at some point, and we're all mixed, you know. And what my guys have been saying to me also is, going forward, it's all right. It's fair enough. Like there's protests going on, you know, and people are lying down and they're kneeling and all these things, you know, crying out for change. But is that going to bring real change? Is it really going to bring change? I don't feel so. It's happened before and before. They're not sitting down with the situation and saying, okay, you know, we need to make a change. We need to make a stand so this doesn't happen anymore. Okay. The police are using us as bait, you know, killing us, killing our people as bait, you know, to create so that it keeps happening. So what are we going to do to actually really stop this? I say, think about it. My guides have told me what needs to be done. But I feel that these people need to sit down and they need to go within themselves and say, right, when they're going out to protest, just take a look in the mirror and go within yourself and say to yourself, yourself, because God's in you, okay? Should I be going out there today? Yes. Okay. What am I willing to achieve? When I come back through that door, the door to my house, what do I come back with? Am I coming, would I have made a difference? Is this going to really bring about real change? And if it's not, think more, think collectively, right? On a larger scale. Let's get the people together, and then let's branch out and bring everyone together, and then we'll realize that actually, you know what, it's not about race. This thing is not about race. It's being used for years as bait. That's what it is. This thing, we're not in a race war, we're in a spiritual war. That's what we're in, and people don't realize. They're not looking deep enough at the situation. This is not a race war, but it's been used. It's an illusion, you know, it's been used. And because it's worked, they keep using it. And they're using it to serious levels, you know, right? When you hear Black people are dead, are they? Where did you hear it? On the tell lie vision. Lies, you know. Where did you hear it? How do you know? Did you go to the funeral? Did you see the body? You know, they're using these things, and there's contracts in place. Right, you know, you were saying the other day, earlier on, Sister Jen, that you've had a vision where you've sat at the feet of the Most High. I have too, and I've had a vision where I've been in a golden building, and I'm going up these golden stairs, okay, and I've got like a attire, like a long attire, and I'm walking up with like it's an angel, and it's a black angel. And I get there. When I get to the top, all right, everything's gold. When I get to the top, there's like realms, like different levels of people, like worlds, like it's almost like a theater, like that. And they're different realms. And I've been blessed to be able to travel from I got to the top of the dome. When I got there, I saw my crown. I saw my crown, I saw my chair, right? I saw the Most High, and I saw these big hands come to me and hold me. And I know I made a contract, you know. This is my life purpose, you know. God, I've been sent here, you know. We all have. The fact is, everyone's got a purpose, everyone has a contract, right? But they just don't know. They don't know. They haven't gone deep enough to find out what their contract is, you know. And it's about learning thyself, going in thyself, you know, and learning and spending time with the Most High, spending time in those realms. You know, for me, I prefer to be in those realms than I do, you know, walking up and down a high street. You know, that's the place where I love, you know. And Amenti, you were talking about love and the power of love, and people think that love is just this, you know, fickle, you know. No. Is the most powerful vibration, you know. That love vibration destroys everything, absolutely everything. If we can all just get there, if we can all bring the people to that the real place of love, you know. Love has got the warrior instinct, because we have to fight for it, you know. And love is bringing people together unconditionally, you know. This is a big jigsaw, and we're all a part, we're all a piece of this jigsaw. The jigsaw is not complete if one piece is missing, you know. And it's about getting all of the pieces together, you know.
Cool, that's really, really powerful. Can you hear me? Am I muted? That's really powerful. So I just wanna, like, Amenti, so basically we're coming towards the end. I just want to see if you wanted to respond to that, and then I wanna ask both of you, as Black women, like, what would you like from your brothers and sisters? Like, so I'd like just think about that. Like, what can we do? Because it's really, I'm really happy that we're having this conversation. Like, there's definitely something good has come out of it, and it's that we are having this like mature, spiritually mature conversation about how we can make the world more beautiful for each other, and that is what it's all about. But I tell you what, I will never ever see you like come down to that level of, like, you know, thinking that I'm a white supremacist, because that's just that is just nonsense. Like, I see you as God's daughter. Do you know what I mean?
And I feel you, sis. You know what I mean? Anyone who knows you knows. And we have a personal connection. So I know that. And for me, that's not an issue. What that shows me is just a reflection of where people are at and their ignorance. And as much as we are even seeing the need for us to acknowledge how, you know, Black lives, we also have to acknowledge people, because even amongst our communities, we're disrespectful to each other. There's abuse of the women, abuse of the men, abuse of the children. Yeah. So my you know, my truth would be that this is supposed to teach us about how we connect with each other and ourselves across the board. And so I pray that it continues to reveal truth. Let's keep on revealing the truth, because then the children won't be missing. Children will never be missing when they have loving parents who are on, you know, who are holding space for them. Those lost children are us. We have to reclaim the lost parts of us so that we can better protect them. They are the innocents, you know. So as a community, I really am positive, happy to see what's going on. I don't want us to just get lost in the commercial aspect of building businesses without really understanding that we also need to do the healing work so that we can stand in our power. You know, because that's what it's about. Because when everyone is in their power, racism and these things become an illusion, because everyone knows themselves. We all know who we are. We're all vibrating at the same frequency. So for me, I just understand that this is all the shifts that it takes in order for us to get to that place. As spiritualists, we knew this time was coming. We felt it. I realized I've been living in the future for the past 10 years. Like, now I'm kind of like, oh, okay, it's actually happening. Whereas before it had already happened to me. So in a way, it's just to bring everyone else up to speed. And like you said, Jen, in order for us to change a reality, we need to have a consensus, a new consensus of at least 51% of the reality, tuning into the frequency of change. That's what's happening right now. We just have to stay focused on the end goal, not just our own individual things, which will then seek to keep us still separated. So I just want to send love to you, Jen, as well, for holding space. I see you. I know we all see each other. When you spoke about your experience with God and, you know, the soul contracts that we made, that's exactly what I know and what I've seen and how I've lived my life, because there's been no disconnection between me and the source. I was born with the source as my higher guide, and that's all I've ever experienced, and that's what's allowed me to live this life really seeing it for what it is. But I also understand that if like you said, you know, even if we do see the Black woman as being the representative of what, you know, God embodies, then she also has to exalt herself. We all have to exalt that part of ourselves within ourselves. It's not something separate, because that's what created the illusion in the first place, of thinking that anyone was more powerful than the other. I see us all as four. If we have a car, the car has an engine, it has a wheel, it has all of these different parts. Now, if you've got 4 tires and one of them is flat, you have to fill that tire up. That's what where we're at right now. But that doesn't mean that tire is any better than all of the tires on that car. We have to make sure that everyone's winning. Man, woman, child, God. That's it.
And there are no victims. Like, on
no,
level,
that's a consciousness.
Like,
yeah, we have to clear that.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. So this is just for our listeners, because this is going to go out far and wide. Do you know what I mean? It's just to remind everyone. Like, I've had like a near-death experience, like without actually dying, and I've like literally like been at the feet of God, and I know who we all are on a soul level, and we are all God sparks. We are all sovereign, and we are all so freaking powerful. It's absolutely unbelievable, and there's no such thing as a victim. So I think a lot of people have to check themselves right now of like projecting this idea that our Black sovereign brothers and sisters are victims. It's like, I refuse to come down to that level to see you. Like, that's just a lie. It's an illusion. I'm not going to buy into it. Like, you are God's daughter. I celebrate your glory. Like 1,000 billion million %. I celebrate your glory, your beauty, your gifts, your wisdom, your insight, everything. And I know that you are in the vessel that is the most optimum vessel for you to be in, for your evolution, for your self avatar mastery. I know for a fact who you are. So I'm not going to play this game of like any bullshit guilt, because I don't have any guilt, and I will stand very, very proud in the skin that God blessed me with. Do you know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah.
We have to get rid of that victimizer consciousness, and it doesn't matter in what capacity that it manifests itself. A part of what I teach is the attitudes and responsibilities of self-mastery, and one of those things is acknowledging the release, or the need to release, the victimizer game. You are a divine sovereign being that's chosen every experience. It's only as you've manifested into this body, in the individualized aspect, you get the experience of separation or trauma or all of these things. But ultimately, you are perfect, whole and complete, and will always be perfect, whole and complete. I want to share, I did a recording of the meditation that I did on Saturday, and I'm offering it out for people who want to go through the process of soul activation. I take you back into the primordial womb and sing you the song of your soul, so that when you come in through into this new body, you don't have the trauma and the karma. And we go through each one of your energy centers, and we put in new codes and frequencies that allow you to now transmute this higher energy, which will then make it easier for you on a conscious level to start unpacking these ideals that no longer serve. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put the link, I'm going to share the link with Jen, and she'll make sure that everybody can get access to it. If you need support with your shadow work as well, we are here. But please, the first place that you need to start is by detaching yourself from this experience and understanding that you are some poor person that needs to be helped. There is nothing that's going to come and save you. There is no one that you need to save. We are here experiencing this together. What your purpose is to see and understand what it is that you came to do, how you're going to shine your soul light and be a part of rebuilding this new golden age. So I send you love of the highest vibration, because the guide that walks with me is the ancestral mother, the primordial cosmic mother, and she is birthing. She knows the aches and pains that it takes. She knows that even to bring forth life, her liver and her organs get moved around in order for her to breathe and bring forth this life. So she is cool. It's just us. We need to get in our centers and stop allowing things to divide you, even so that you can point out somebody else's injustices. You actually pointing a finger back at yourself. You are no separate from that person. So Jen, I also want to say to you, see that person that said what they said to you, just give thanks to that, because they had an opportunity to see where their ignorance still lies, and you had an opportunity to see that it's still present, but it is shifting. You don't need in any way, shape, or form to respond to that. But I also am thankful that it did bring up something in you so that we can have this conversation today. So I want to thank you, sis.
Oh, bless you. Woo. Angela, what would you like to say?
I would like to say that what I would like to see is within our community here, change within our youth, you know, because we're all saying Black Lives Matters. They're going out and saying Black Lives Matter, but yet there's still a lot of black and black killing. Like blacks are killing, these youths are killing each other like every day. Like the numbers, the names don't even go on the news, you know. So this is something that needs to be addressed. How can we go out and say Black Lives Matter when there's issues within our own community? So we need to that needs addressing. That's something that needs to be dealt with. You know, the community can only walk in full force if it's correct. So, I used to teach. I've been a teacher for 30 years of children, right, in schools. I now teach on a spiritual level. How to find yourself, shadow work, the mirroring of thyself, how to meditate, all of that. I did a live transmission. I did tape it, but the frequency was so high in the Zoom that it just went all the way through. Okay. But we did manifest pure light force energy. And I know that light force energy went to all these places that we know it needs to go to worldwide. It got there, So I just want to invite people as well to visit my page, Andrew's Healing Hands of Light. And on there, I do readings. I do all of my work that I do is through my third eye. So I read and I channel read. Okay, I scan. I can bend a spoon with my third eye, okay, because of the vibration that I carry, okay? So I heal. I've healed many things. I've healed cancer. I've healed lungs with fluid on it. I've healed miscarriages. This is something that this is me, but this is not me. This is the divine power from the Most High, okay? So this is me. I'm just myself. This is me. There's no other. This is me. Okay. So I just want to send love to everyone. And I love you, Jen. I can feel the love of you, Amenti, and you, Jen. I love you both. And I feel so grateful to have connected with you and share space, and we're going to do great things because I see that we have a divine work. We've been put together to do some stuff. This is not just happened. This is from the divine. Okay, so sending love to absolutely everyone right across the world, okay, from this very high frequency, and sending love to you both. I love you both. I just want to give you a hug, both of you right now. I can't hear you, Jen, you're on mute.
So, sisters, thank you so much. This is so powerful, and we've got to make this video is going to go viral. Like, let's just script it. It's going to go viral because
it is
a very important message. Because, like, not a lot of people are going in on this fifth dimensional sort of like level conversation, yes. And it really, really needs to happen. Like, everyone's getting lost in 3D, 4D, like, quagmire of confusion, and we need to have this conversation. So, everyone watching this, please share this video.
Yes.
These messages out. We're going to put links to all our websites, to all our services on all of the videos. I highly recommend working with these sisters. You can see that their energy is so beautiful and so pure. And we're going to end with a prayer, and I'll guide it. And then I'm going to open it up for you, Amenti, to say something, and then you, Andrea, to say something into the field. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? I think that was it. But before I close, I just want to say that, yeah, I think a very, very pressing issue really right now is what is going on in the Black community with regards to Blacks, like the young people that are dying. And this is going on in America as well. And this is the real issue, but they won't put that on the news, on the mainstream media, because that's not going to cause a race war. Do you know what I mean? But like so we're going to be really, like, this really, really affects me because I have a 16-year-old son, and I grew up in London, so it could have been so easy for my son to be in London. And so it kills me. Like, every time I hear of a stabbing, it kills me.
Yeah.
So we need to address this.
I lost my brother to a black and black killing, year 2000. Okay, so this is very, very, very something that I know I was meant to go through that. I know that he's at peace. We know, but this, it has to stop. It has to stop. We need to do something to make it stop, and it needs to be a collective. And that, then then we can say no, then we're stronger. It just makes the force stronger. You can't have a cup of tea with cracks in it, in the cup. It needs to be a proper cup. So yeah, that's that's it. Jen, I can't mute.
Let's all right, guys, so my feeling is to guide a prayer / meditation to ignite the flame of spiritual enlightenment in all of our brothers and sisters, and particularly focused on the young Black youths in the cities, really, really activating a rapid awakening for them. That feels good for me. Yes. All right, so just bringing our hands in prayer position as we give thanks for this gathering of beautiful sisters, of powerful awakened sisters. And we give thanks to all of the souls that have been drawn to this work to hear this powerful transmission. And we ask for your divine grace, Mother, Father, God, to please enter into this sacred field and to make your presence palpable to all of us. We ask for the grace of the Most High to enter into Earth's atmosphere now at a time where it is very, very needed. It has never been more needed. We are calling the light of the Christic perpetual love to enter into Earth's electromagnetic grid. And we are asking that these filaments of God consciousness, of Christ consciousness, be like sparks that are igniting the flame of truth, of absolute remembrance of our perpetual divinity in all of our brothers and sisters. We are now directing this light now to our Black communities, into the cities, particularly working with the youth. We are sending in vast filaments of these sparks of light, igniting their hearts to awaken out of the 3D illusion. We all have the capacity to awaken instantly, rapidly, and we are asking for this now in the name of the deepest love of our Creator. And we're asking now for everyone listening to this call for you to open your hearts to receive this grace, to receive the transmission, to receive this boost with your true self. Open it up now to Amenti, sister, for you to say something.
We call on the divine sacred waters that purify, cleanse, and transmute. We ask sacred mothers to bathe and purify the earth with her sacred waters, to bring all to the fore that needs to be cleansed, to raise us in our spiritual power. We ask that you help us on this journey as we return to innocence, as we return to our divine childhood state. We ask that you protect and provide and keep us all health safe as we transition in this time, divine mothers. We ask that you inspire our minds to connect with the divine thought, the divine oneness in heart, mind, body, and spirit. We ask for your guidance and protection for all mothers, children, family, men, and for all of humanity. As we make it through this transition, as we transform into the greatest version of ourselves, may we know peace. May we be willing to leave behind all that no longer serves, and may we rise from the sacred lotus flower in the light of our true divine self, as the Most High has intended it to be. In the name of divine love, divine peace, and divine power, it is so.
And so it is. Andrea?
Oh, Heavenly Creator, we come to you today and we ask you to spread the divine life force energy right across the whole planet right now. We ask for this divine energy to hit all the areas that are coming against humanity. We ask for you to fill the beings so that they can reach a state of full awakening in the 5D state. We ask for you to enter all of the areas and the protests right now and send white light through there so that it goes according to your plan and your plan alone, God Creator. Fire, segment, fire, dual segment. The Shiki out of this second, either this shall burn everything that is not of good, of the good works of the universe. We are asking, fire from segment. Send it pure love, force, love, and light. Filling the hearts of those that are broken. Filling the minds that those are carrying hate. Oh, hallelujah. Thank you. Asking you to reach the youth right now so that they know better. Enter their minds with full light force energy. And I sow this prayer. Thank you. So much gratitude. So mote it be.
So mote it be. So just taking a moment now to just call to mind any young youth of colour that we know, and just taking a moment just to visualise the flame of God consciousness in them, and just seeing it now, seeing this flame take root in their Hara center, and just watching this tiny little one flame now burn. It's like being fanned to encompass their whole entire soul consciousness. We are activating this flame of God remembrance, of God consciousness, of the highest sovereignty, of the remembrance of your perpetual divinity, that you may see yourself in the eyes that Mother, Father, God sees you and knows you and recognizes you as his or her daughter and son of the Most High. And so it is. We give thanks to all the brothers and sisters on this call, knowing that we come forward to serve you. All three of us are absolutely incarnated in service to all of our brothers and sisters. And we ask you that you share this video. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channels and that you check out our websites and just give yourself these amazing offerings that these sisters are sharing. And so, sisters, thank you so much. This is really powerful. Let's all unmute and bye. So thank you to everyone listening. We're going to really make sure that we get this video out far and wide so that we can share these codes. Very important codes are being discussed, and it's very important that as many of our brothers and sisters have access to these codes. So just sending out a prayer, giving thanks to Father God for working with us, for supporting us in getting this message out, bringing solace, bringing wisdom and comfort to all of our beautiful brothers and sisters of all colours and all races and all ages and all sexes. We're all so beautiful and diverse.
Oh, I love you both so much.
I love you too as well. I'm feeling the energy in this room, just sending the purest, most crystalline love to the hearts and minds of each and every one of us as we rise in this time. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe. So we're gonna wrap it up right around here, sisters. That was nearly 2 hours. So we'll three stay connected. I'll make a little group chat and we'll stay connected. But when we end the video, it's gonna be ended for all. Okay.
Okay.
Like amazing. Like so happy that we're in each other's hearts. And we're here now, and we're totally connected. And let's do this. We are on the winning team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
All right, beloveds. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
The solstice transmission will take place on the 20th of June at 8:20 p.m. UK time. In this transmission, we will be working with the higher self of the next wave of sleepers who are about to awaken. The fifth dimensional collective timeline is dependent on a critical mass of humanity being fully awake and red-pilled. We are being called to support the next wave of sleepers in this transmission in order to activate and accelerate the alignment of the timeline of the new earth. We are also being called to assist in the removal of all deep state puppets who are still holding positions of power, to be replaced by white hat humanitarian leaders who care deeply about all generations, past, present and future. We are also being strongly guided to assist in the acceleration of the Jasara timeline, ensuring every one of us receives our God-given dues from all of the gold that has been reclaimed from the unroyal family and Vatican. It is so important on auspicious portal days such as this that we gather together in our soul groups, our ascension groups, in order to counterbalance any nefarious intentions that unelite subhumans may have planned for this auspicious day. I deeply look forward to gathering with you all ceremonially, and please know that we will be working with the portal of Stonehenge in the UK and the higher self of the crop circle makers who work very diligently and prevalently in the UK. The transmission will take place in a secret group on Facebook, and when you sign up you will receive a PDF file with full instructions to join the group. Please read the PDF file. It is possible to receive the recording of the transmission if you cannot make it live or if you are not on Facebook. Please email me at cosmicgypsy33@gmail.com to request the recording. See so many of you on the 20th of June 2020 at 8:20 p.m. UK time for the 2020 solstice transmission. In love and light, Genji.